Welcome to Canada and the Numbers Part 3. Today we'll be discussing a very important topic. We'll be discussing immigration. We'll be looking at Canada's immigration numbers since its independence in 1962. Let's discuss a very important and relevant topic. Canada's immigration since 1982. Let's first look at the columns. We have the year, the population, immigration numbers for that year, for each year, percentage change per year, that's a percentage increase or decrease in immigration from year to year. Immigration as a percentage of the population. Now, this column will look at what percentage of the total population was the immigration number for that year. Now, the data is color coded. In red, we have the years the Liberals were in power. Yellow represents an election year in which there was a change in power, so one party changed to another. One party won over the government from another. So there was a change in the political parties that was in charge of the country. That's what yellow presents. Light blue, the years the Progressive Conservative Party was in power. And down here, dark blue represents the year the Conservative Party of Canada was in power. Now, the Conservative Party of Canada, which I had explained in my previous video, was amalgamated, let me use that big word, or they came together, they integrated when Canada Alliance and the Progressive Party of Canada formed and joined into one. Now let's look at the numbers. So in 1982, let's back up a little bit. So from the data, if you look at the immigration numbers from 1982 right up to 2023, we see that Canada has always had a strong immigration policy in terms of the number of immigrants they have welcomed to the country. It has always been a large number, always been a large number. So if we start off with 1982, we see that the number of immigrants was 121,200, which represents 0.48% of the population. 1983 dropped to 89,000, or a 26.40% reduction. We see that in 1984 it further dropped to 88,300, or a 1% reduction from 1983. So let's focus on this column first, the actual number of immigrants. So we see that starting in 1987, Canada had 150,100 immigrants, which was a 53.02% increase from the year before. So from 1987 onwards, Canada's immigration numbers were six figures, never dropped below six figures from 1987 right up until 2023. Six-figure numbers. So from 1987, where they had 152,100, from that onwards, six figures in terms of the number of persons that Canada welcomed into its borders. So we can see any year we pick, we will have six figures. 1995, 212,000, 2000, 227,000 people. So there are a lot of 200 plus thousand people that Canada welcomed each year, right? 2014, 260,400. Um, we see, okay, we see that in 2021, in 2021 is when the numbers got significantly higher. Let's backtrack a little bit first. So in 2019, Canada welcomed 341,800 people. In 2020, which was COVID, they only welcomed 184,370, which is still a lot, which is a reduction of 45.96%. And we all know what happened I gave it away. We all know what happened in 2020. I was gonna ask a question, what happened in 2020, but started off by saying COVID, so I gave it away. So 2020, we had COVID, 184,370 persons Canada welcome, which is a drop of 45.96% from the 341,180 in 2019. Then in 2021, they welcomed their first, this is the first time immigration touching the 400,000 region. So in 2021, there was 405,330 people, or 119.85% increase from the 184 that was taken in 2020. So we know that COVID actually damaged global economies, and Canada implemented like rigorous immigration policies to get the economy back on track, which would explain why there was such a steep increase in immigration in 2021. But then 2022, there was another large number, 437,500, or a 7.94% increase from 2021. And in 2023 was 471, the highest number yet, or an increase of 7.78% from the previous year. Good. So we see that from 1982 until 2023, Canada welcomed 9.9 million immigrants in total for that 42 years. I'm sorry, 41 years. 42 years. So 9.9 million people in 42 years. All right, let's look at this column now. Percentage change. So we see that from 1982 to 1983, there was a drop of there was a reduction of 26.4%. 1980, 1983 to 1984, there was another reduction of 1.04%. Between 1984 and 1985, there was a reduction of 4.5%. So, but if we look at the data, we see that from year to year, immigration, there are the odd years when the immigration numbers went down, but generally speaking, the numbers went up. So, for example, from 1986 to 1987, immigration increased by 53.02%, so from 99,400 to 152. So steady increase. There was a reduction in 1994. So between 1993 and 1994, dropped by 12%. But generally speaking, the immigration numbers has been positive. There was a 19% drop here from 1997 to 1998, reduction of 19.35%. So from 216,000 in 1997 to 174 in 1998, and so on and so forth. So we see, remember this big drop. So between 2019 and 2020, drop of 45.96%. And then we had this huge boom from 2020 to 2021 of 119%. Now we'll go to our final column. Immigration as a percentage. Immigration as a percentage of the population. Now we see that Canada's population has grown over the years. So has immigration. So immigration as a percentage of the population, we see that generally speaking, it has grown. There are years in which there was reduction. For example, from in 1984, immigration of 88,300 was 0.34% of the population of 25 million. It fell in 1985 to 0.33% of the population. And then we see, generally speaking, immigration as a percentage of the population has grown over the years, right? And in 2021, we see that is the first time that immigration as a percentage of the population was over 1%. So this 405,330 people that were welcomed in 2021 represents 1.05% of Canada's population of 38 million. And then the trend continued, being over 1% for the last 3 years. Now let's look at the summary. So I got the summary. A little bit of, let me just drag this in. Okay, let's go. Let's look at the summary. So we see that, okay, sorry about that. So we see that the summary, I am not editing this video. I want it to be all natural, so I'm not editing out any of the stumbles I have. So let's go. The information is more important than the stumble. So let's go. So look at the summary, which is very important. So increase in Canada's population since 1982 is 15,334,858. So we see that between 1982 and 2023, Canada's population increased from 25 million to 40 million, which is 15 million and 15 million increase. For the same period, 1982 to 2023, total immigration since 1982 for that same 42-year period was 9,928,540. Now, this immigration as a percentage of the population increase. So this 9.9 million represents 64, let's say 65, 65% of the population increase in Canada. Now, some disclaimers. No, I am not saying that Canada's population increase from 15 million is 9 million. Immigration represents 9.9 million of that, or 65% of that. I couldn't say that because this 15 million increase in Canada's population from 1982 until 2023, yes, immigration played a part, but I in a perfect world, we could say, okay, 15 million, there's a 15 million increase in the population over 41 years. So we had 9.9 million immigrants. Therefore, it represents 64% of the total increase. In a perfect world, I could say that, but the world is not perfect. So we know that of these 9.9 million immigrants that came to Canada over that 41-year period, they would have had children. Some of them would have died. Person may have left. So there is no way to accurately say what percentage what percentage of Canada's increase can be attributable to the total immigration since 1982. However, it does give us a basis to say or an indication of how immigration has contributed to the increase in population. So immigration as a percentage of the population increase based on a perfect world where the 15 million would be the total increase over the 41 years and 9.9 million was immigration would have been 64%. But again, as I'm saying, there are other variables. Immigrants died, they had kids, people returned home. So take this with a grain, this 65 with a grain of salt. I would say, I would think it's probably maybe less or within a range. It's probably between, I should not even give a range. All right, you can make your own range. So immigration, the number of immigrants that contributed to Canada's population growth is somewhere in the 64.74 region. So plus or minus, so give or take based on your estimation. All right, so let's continue. The average immigration per year. So the average immigration number of immigrants per year that Canada welcomed from 1982 until 2023 is about 36,394.04 per year. So 42 years, Canada has averaged 236,395.05 immigrants per year. So the average increase in immigrants per year is about 5%, 5.44%. So from year to year, for 42 years, sorry, immigration has increased by 5.41% per year. Now, let's look here. So between 2021, 2022, and 2023, as a percentage of total immigration, is about 13.24%. So what we are saying is that of this 9.9 million that came between 1982 and 2023, 1.3 million came between 2021 and 2023, which represents about 13% of this entire 9.9 million. So that's me presenting Canada and the numbers. So we'll go into a deeper analysis of what immigration means for Canada's economy, unemployment, etc., housing prices, and we'll use the numbers to either collaborate or disprove some of the assumptions and assertions that are out there about immigration destroying the country. We'll use the numbers to decide which one of those assertions we're going to believe. So I'll see you in part three. And I'm sorry, I'll see you in part four. If you like this video, and especially if you found it useful, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and get more.